Breaking ego through humility. Humility, in its purest form, is an essential aspect of our relationship with Allah. When we surrender our ego and recognize our dependence on Him, we develop a connection that transcends worldly desires and distractions. This act of lowering oneself before the greatness of Allah does not diminish us, but instead elevates our status in His eyes. It is only when we humble ourselves that we truly recognize the depth of our faith and the mercy that Allah constantly offers to us. Humility helps us acknowledge that everything we have, every breath we take, is a blessing from Allah. By understanding our limitedness, we open ourselves up to Allah's boundless mercy, inviting His light into our hearts. This beautiful surrender to Allah's will cleanses us from arrogance and pride, leading to spiritual growth and true peace. When we show humility, we not only draw closer to Allah, but also develop a greater capacity for empathy, love, and kindness toward others. We stop looking down on others and begin to see them as equal creations of Allah, deserving of respect and dignity. This in turn strengthens the bonds of community and harmony among us. However, the path to humility is not always straightforward. Pride, arrogance, and the desire to elevate ourselves above others are deeply ingrained in human nature. These traits, while sometimes subtle, often hold us back from fully embracing humility. The temptation to boast about our achievements, our wealth, or our knowledge can be overwhelming. Society often rewards pride and self-assertion, making it difficult for many to take the first step toward true humility. Overcoming this can be challenging because it requires us to go against the current, to push aside our egos and desires. We may feel a sense of loss when we relinquish the need to assert our superiority, as though we are giving up our identity. But in reality, it is only when we let go of these false identities that we discover who we truly are, humble servants of Allah. Furthermore, embracing humility is a continuous process. It's not something that can be achieved overnight, nor is it a state that can be maintained effortlessly. Like any other spiritual practice, it requires daily commitment and effort. It may seem hard at first, especially for those who are used to being in control, to acknowledge that they are not the ultimate authority. But with every small step we take toward humility, we begin to experience the tranquility and peace that come from recognizing Allah as our ultimate source of strength and guidance. As we continue to practice humility, Allah's mercy becomes more tangible in our lives, filling our hearts with peace and contentment. On the other hand, some might misunderstand humility as a weakness, failing to realize that it is in fact a sign of strength. True strength lies not in the power we assert over others, but in the ability to submit ourselves to the will of Allah. Those who are truly humble are not weak, they are empowered by the love and mercy of Allah. By submitting to Him, we acknowledge that He is the source of all strength, and in doing so, we find our true power. It is in the surrender to Allah that we find freedom from the burdens of pride and arrogance, allowing us to live a life of fulfillment and spiritual peace. For anyone struggling with humility, it is important to remember that this is not a one-time act, but a lifelong journey. It requires patience, perseverance, and self-awareness. We must constantly check ourselves, especially in moments when we feel tempted to boast or assert superiority. Humility is about recognizing the beauty in others and understanding that no one is above anyone else except in the sight of Allah. By cultivating this awareness, we can continue to grow in humility, allowing us to draw closer to Allah and become better versions of ourselves. And in doing so, we open ourselves to the infinite mercy and blessings of Allah. 2. Let your tears flow in the depths of the night. There is something incredibly powerful about waking up in the stillness of the night for prayer. The world is quiet, the distractions are minimal, and in that sacred moment it feels as though we are the only ones left to pour our hearts out to Allah. It is in these moments of solitude and reflection that the soul finds true healing. The night is a time when Allah is closest to His servants, offering His mercy and grace to those who call upon Him. When we wake up in the middle of the night to pray, we acknowledge our dependence on Allah and seek His forgiveness with sincerity. These acts of devotion are not mere rituals. They are the expressions of a heart yearning for Allah's mercy and compassion. It is in these quiet, intimate moments that our prayers are most genuine and our souls are most vulnerable. The tears that flow in the depths of the night are not tears of weakness, but tears of hope and longing. They are the expressions of our deepest desires for Allah's forgiveness, guidance, and protection. However, waking up for night prayer is not always easy. The demands of daily life can leave us exhausted, and the comfort of our beds often feels too tempting to resist. It requires discipline and determination to break free from the allure of sleep and to rise in the darkness of the night. But it is precisely this effort that makes the night prayer so powerful. Every step we take to rise from our beds, to perform wudu, and to stand in prayer brings us closer to Allah. It is a struggle, yes, but it is a struggle for the sake of our Creator, and it is a struggle that brings immense reward. In the depths of the night, there is no one else to rely on but Allah. It is in these moments of complete surrender that we experience the full depth of Allah's mercy. In addition to the physical challenges of waking up for night prayer, there is also the mental and emotional challenge of quieting the mind. The world is filled with distractions, and our thoughts are often cluttered with worries, anxieties, and stress. It can be difficult to calm our hearts and focus solely on Allah during these quiet hours. But it is precisely through this act of concentration that we draw closer to Him. As we clear our minds and focus on our prayers, we find a sense of peace that cannot be found in the busyness of the day. These moments of tranquility allow us to connect with Allah on a deeper level, pouring our hearts out to Him in complete sincerity. It is also important to remember that the night prayer is not just for the strong and the pious. It is a gift from Allah, available to everyone who seeks it. Whether we are going through difficult times, struggling with our faith, or simply seeking closeness to Allah, the night prayer offers a space for healing and reflection. When we shed our tears before Allah in the quiet of the night, we invite His mercy into our hearts, knowing that He is always there to listen and to forgive. The tears we shed are a sign of our humility and our recognition of Allah's greatness. They are a reflection of our desire to purify our hearts and to draw closer to the One who created us. In conclusion, waking up for night prayer and shedding tears in these sacred moments is a powerful way to strengthen our relationship with Allah. It is a practice that requires effort, but the rewards are immense. It brings us closer to Allah, purifies our hearts, and fills us with peace. The night prayer is a time for healing, reflection, and connection, offering a deep and intimate encounter with our Creator. May we all be blessed with the ability to wake up in the depths of the night, to pour our hearts out to Allah, and to experience the immense mercy and blessings that He offers to those who seek Him.